Time is running out, day after day. We'll make the Monday a masterpiece. Oh my, oh my love. I'm taking a look at you, you're taking me up. The ordinary, would you lay me down to get buried? I'm sleeping drunk on you are. You something without a chance. I'm telling you, it'll be right. It's in the ground. It's in the ground. It's all there to be. Start of the Hello, everyone. Good afternoon to you. Good morning, good evening. You're welcome to today's session. My time is 4 p.m. Nigerian time. So please, let's just give a minute or two for more people to join the session, and then we can begin. If you know any of your friends that you would like them to be part of this session, please share the link with them so they can join us. Today is going to be practical, and we'll just start in about 5 minutes. Thank you. You're welcome again. If you're just joining us, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. You are most welcome to today's session. We're just giving a minute or two for more people to join, and then we can begin in earnest. I see we have a lot of people on the call already, so please, we'd like to meet you. If you can just tell us where you're connecting from in the chat box, we really appreciate it. I see our two speakers are already here on the call. You're most welcome, sirs. Thank you, everyone, for making our time out of your busy schedule to be here. We appreciate you. Today's session is meant for you and I, AI for Data Analysis Masterclass for everyone working in the development space. You're most welcome. You're most welcome. If you have any of your friends or your colleague that you want them to be part of this session, please share the link with them so they can join us. Meanwhile, I'm going through the chat box. Let me see who we have here. If you're just joining us, please kindly introduce yourself in the chat box and let us know the city or the location you're connecting or you're calling in from. Okay, so I'm going through the chat now. We have Blessings joining us from Abuja, Nigeria. You're welcome, Blessing. And we have Godwin joining from Makurdi, Benue State. Khadija Yahaya Mohammed joining from the FCT. Thank you, Khadija, for joining. We have Ekene Ede from Lagos, Nigeria. You're welcome. We have Mr. James from Abuja. Mr. James, you're welcome. Sophia Hanwa from Kaduna, you're welcome. Mr. Derek from Lagos, thank you everyone for joining. So let me see what is the time now. Just one more minute and then we'll begin. Again, let me just say, for me, I'm very excited to have you join this session today. It promises to be a great time. And I hope that at the end of the day, you will leave here, appreciating that your time was not wasted. So if you know anyone who work with data or who work in the development space, please invite them to be part of this session. We are in a new dispensation, if you ask me. Before now, we used to have, different industrial evolution. We had a time where oil was the boom. We had a time where, professional title were the thing. But all of those is fading away. And we must, brace up with the trends, especially for this our space. You either get updated or you be left behind. Nobody get credit for not using the available technology. Nobody get credit for that. We all get credit for doing the work rightly and efficiently. And that is what we hope to explore in this session. And by way of welcome, this session is made possible by Monitoring Evaluation Sphere. A platform for capacity building of young people and early career professionals in the area of monitoring and evaluation. So for this session, please, I would like to just skip to this housekeeping rules. If you're not speaking, kindly mute yourself. If you want to talk, use the chat box. And then raise your hand if you want to call our attention to anything. And then we can allow you to ask question. Okay, I'm going through the chat box. We have Aminu joining us from Mubi in Adamawa State. We have Nuren Ahmed joining us from South Africa. Thank you, Nuren. We are welcome. We have Simi Priscilla from Abuja. You're welcome. We have Glory from Abuja. Abuja seems to be having their day. You're welcome, everyone. So without waste of your time, as I promised, today is going to be practical. So I would like to just go straight to conversation proper. So a bit about MIE Sphere, as I introduced earlier, capacity building initiative that aims to empower young people with skills to leverage, the opportunities in the development space. And our vision is to see that young people participate more in the development space, and we do this through webinars like this. We have a platform where you can be part of it if you so wish, where you can connect with other monitoring and evaluation professional from different works, from different spaces. The last time we checked, we have people from over 20 countries in that group, so you can be part of it. So before we go into the discussion, I'd like you to meet our distinguished speakers today. In no particular order, we have Desmond on the left, and we have Abdullahi in the middle. So I'll just be looking through the participant list to call some people to introduce our guests to us properly, and then we can begin from there. Temi, are you on the call? If you're on the call, can you introduce Desmond and read his biography? His bio, rather. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Desmond Bature is a monitoring, evaluation, and learning specialist. Can everybody hear me, please?
Yes, clear. You're very clear. You can go on.
Okay. So Desmond Bature is a monitoring, evaluation, and learning specialist with a strong track record in data systems, analytics, and adaptive programming. He is the founder of Next Data Consulting Limited, a firm that leverages AI-driven solutions to optimize data collection, management, and reporting for development projects. Over the years, he has worked with leading organizations, including Creative Associates International, the International Rescue Committee, Teach for Nigeria, and Child Voice, where he led evaluation, data quality audits, and learning initiatives across education, humanitarian, and community development programs. Passionate about using data for impact, Desmond combines technical expertise with a collaborative approach to drive evidence-based decision-making and sustainable results. Outside of work, he enjoys playing chess. Please, can we use our smiley icons to welcome him? Thank you. We can give him a round of applause. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Temi, for reading the bio beautifully. Ladies and gentlemen, please let's make welcome Mr. Desmond Bature, our guest, one of our guest speakers for today. In the chat box, please give him your virtual ovation. As you do that, let me welcome Oluwatomiwa Ande to introduce our second speaker, Mr. Abdullahi Ibrahim.
All right. Thanks, Godwin. Good evening, everyone, from where I'm joining. Our second speaker is Mr. Abdullahi Ibrahim. He's a seasoned monitoring, evaluation, research, and learning male professional with nearly a decade of experience spanning the public, private, and non-profit sectors. His expertise lies in youth development, impact measurement, strategic partnership, and inclusive feedback systems with a focus on addressing youth unemployment and driving social change. Please, with our clap emojis, let's welcome Mr. Abdullah Ibrahim. Thank you. Over.
Thank you so much, Oluwatomiwa Andy. Please let's make welcome our speakers once again using our emojis. Let them know we appreciate their time and the knowledge they are going to share with us in this session. So, without much of the talking, let's go into the business of the day. As you all know, today's session is very special for people who work with data or people who are in the development space, talking about you and I. And I'll just urge you to sit tight. If you have your notepad, please get ready with your writing material. You may pick one or two things here that will help you do your work much better. And this is not the session to talk about whether we should use AI or whether it's wrong or right to use AI. At the end of the day, you be the judge of yourself whether you should integrate AI into your work or not. So let me be sure that our speakers are on the call and they can hear me clearly. So Mr. Desmond, if you can hear me, can you just say hi and maybe say hello to our participant, and we'll move from there to Abdullahi.
Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm on the call. Desmond is on the call, and I'm really excited to talk about AI in data analysis today. And I look forward to having a beautiful and engaging session with everyone. Thank you.
All right, great. Now we're so sure our speakers are in the house. Mr. Abdullahi, if you can hear me, please, would you want to say hi to the participants?
Hi to the participants. Good evening, Godwin, and thank you for having me. Very honored.
Okay, great. So this is the flow of the session. First, we are going to have Mr. Abdullahi do his presentation. He is going to walk us through what he has prepared for us today. As he's doing that, I would advise that you note down anything you want to probe further or any question you may have. And thereafter, we'll move to have Mr. Desmond to make his own presentation. And then we'll come back all together to do a panel where we'll be asking them questions based on their presentations or anything that you may have. Just to be sure, let me see the chat box before I hand over to the speakers. Oh, the slide should be sent. Okay, thank you everyone for the virtual emojis to welcome our speakers. So I'll just hand over now to Mr. Abdullahi. Abdullahi, you can take it over from me.
Thank you kindly, Godwin. And once again, good evening, everyone. It's the Harry Potter age of working with data. There's just so much you can do. And also because there's so much you can do, there's so much expectation for you to do a lot in also little time. But before we commence, what's a conversation around data and AI without some real-time data collection? So I just put a link on the chat box. So just click the link and tell us one word. What word comes to mind when someone says AI for data analysis? What comes to mind? So we'll take 2 minutes for this. The rationale for this is just to I see 3 words: correctness, data ethics. Okay. So just put in the words. Don't think too much about it. We have just 2 minutes or 1 minute now. It's just to establish a baseline and the undertone and the body language. Ease. I like that. Ease. So correctness makes a lot of sense. We want to be correct and we want to be sure that AI is giving us the right thing. Fast, reliable website. Interesting. We have some developers in the room. Or someone that is working on a project that has a website component and that's the only thing in his mind. or her mind. Reliability, the extent to which is reliable. Easy job, get the job done easily. Efficiency. I see graphics, interesting. I know little about AI when it comes to graphics, so I'm hoping to learn from you. But I'm largely going to speak about two tools today. So thank you, thank you, thank you. So I see a lot, and this is quite interesting. Thank you for indulging me. So before I start, one of the foundations that I like to lay when it comes to working with AI, especially when it comes to data and analyzing data or understanding data or interpreting data, it's always a myriad of things. Especially in the early days of the generative AI or artificial general intelligence or artificial intelligence. A lot of people share that, oh, when I put in the qualitative data or the spreadsheet, it just gives me random things, or it doesn't even take it. And then we went to an age where you get responses, but it's not the response you expect. And then we got to, it's like the Harry Potter age, if you remember the whole, or if you did watch it. And then we got to a stage where, okay, it's working, but it's not quite there yet. And then we're advancing to a stage where it's really now AI telling you that your work is not effective. Or you work with someone, perhaps you're a consultant or a staff or an enumerator, or you work with data every day, and you think you want to work with AI. But the funny thing is, the person reviewing your work before they put it forward are using AI to review it, right? And then it's understandable that you would not think far and wide as AI would. The reason is as simple as this. The whole is simply a sum of its parts. AI has a lot of parts, but you're just one human being. So a tool is only as good as the person who uses it, and this is why we are here today. I am just going to share in my humble self the extent to which I've been able to use some two tools, which we'll get to work with data, whether it's qualitative or quantitative, and I am going to use a case. But before then, I want to share something around generative fallback. So there's this thing that happens with AI. Foundationally, everybody should understand it. Anywhere you're working with AI, even if it is proven to be 100% accurate, you should always have in mind that AI has a generative fallback. And simply put, you can just look at this diagram. It is either it gives you a high quality response, what you required, or it gives you a fallback response. Because in most cases, it won't tell you it's unable to do it. It will just give you something, whether it's the right thing or not. So this is very important to bear in mind. The way AI works is that it's like a huge chunk of machine learning, multiple moving machine learning parts. And it has a lot of that it itself works with. So it can be wrong 10,000 times, but all I'm saying 9,999 times. But that one time it gets it right, it becomes like a holy grail. I don't know if the term holy grail is something we're conversant with, but I'll just stop here. Let's beware that AI would sometimes give you a fallback response that isn't what you need. And sometimes the fallback response will look very, very good, and you'll just take it on and work with it. So you need to do your own research of what AI has given you. And that is sometimes a kind of research that AI can do for you, and other times it can't. Well, moving on. The first tool that I am going to speak about is I'm going to start working with a quantitative data today. And this entire exercise is a case study. And what this case is going to look like is that the case is that I have an NGO. There's an NGO that runs a youth employability program in Nigeria. I'm using employability because I could see that some of us already, well, we work in employability, and it's one of the most common thematic areas in international development. So it's quite relatable. And I have quantitative data and qualitative data. The quantitative data has, surveys, let's just say survey responses around employment status, income change, and skills gained. I also have qualitative data. There's FGD transcripts, there's interview transcripts, and one open text response from a survey also. So we're going to analyze a qualitative data from a largely quantitative tool. So I'm going to walk through 3 steps, or let me say 2 steps majorly. I'm going to use Gemini for Google Sheets to analyze the quantitative data. Firstly, try to clean it, clean this data we can see. And then I'm going to, ask it basic things, maybe auto clean, generate descriptive statistics that speaks to, the goal of the program, run some quick comparisons, perhaps let's say average income that has changed per participant, and then maybe use maybe natural language queries, maybe asking around percentages of female participants that have gained employment. And then I'm going to use Notebook LM for the transcripts for FGDs and interviews. So let's dive right into it. So for this, as you can see, I have this data here. It doesn't appear to be very clean. There is some, let's just imagine that the enumerators made some mistake. And, this is 29G, 2060, 22D. I have unemployed here, but there's some typo here and there. But what I'm going to use to do this tiny bit of analysis is nothing too technical. And here it is. It is AI for Sheets. I'm going to share the link after this session on the chat box. So hopefully you stick through till the end. But you can also easily search for it on Google Chrome extensions. AI for Sheets, Gemini, trademarked, of course, GPT. So you can just search it on using this get add-ons and all of that. Okay, someone's mic is open. But if you want to say something, you can feel free to do so later in the interest of time. So let me try to explain this. I've already, if our proctor can kindly mute the person whose microphone is open, I somewhat easily get distracted. I have a low attention span. So I will try to maybe clean this. So let me try that firstly using AI. So I'm just going to come here, use Gemini full sheet analysis. I think I just start with that because it saves me a lot of time. And I'm just going to say, you see, it already starts with, segment the data into meaningful categories. It's already telling you some things you can do. It's already reading the data, compare outcomes for unemployed versus employed, etc. But I'm going to start with, so you can also do two things. You can tell it to act and you can ask it something. You can analyze your data and provide answers, and you can tell it to act. So acting gives it the permission to edit your data. So I'm going to tell it to clean the data for me, but I'm going to bring my cursor somewhere that the data is not there, just in case. So I'll just say, clean the data. I'm not, I start with the most simple of prompts. People will tell you, oh, prompt engineering, but you can start with the most simple of prompts. And the simple one worked. Can we see what just happened? Did it happen too fast for anyone to realize? Let me just get anyone to say if they saw what happened within these 3 seconds. Hi, Godwin, or anyone. So it will have taken me perhaps 10 minutes or 15 minutes to clean the data. Maybe let me reverse the changes. And maybe perhaps you pay attention now. So I'm just saying, so you can see the data is not clean now. All this 229 DD, GG, alphabets coming up where numbers are. So I'm just saying clean the data. It's thinking for 1 second, 2 seconds, 5 seconds. Well, it took more time this time around, but it got it done in 9 seconds. So it has cleaned the data. It has cleaned the data. But yeah, that's just something AI can do for you. Yeah. But moving on, so that I don't take too much time, on to better and better things. So in this data, you can clearly see, well, the data will not, the AI will not put information in your brain. So you need to do your own Reiki, let's say reconnaissance survey of the data. So you can see I have unique IDs, gender, age, employment status before the program, and employment status after the program, monthly income before the program, monthly income after the program, the skills that were gained, and satisfaction levels, right? So for this data, I think the first thing I want to do is, maybe just generate some descriptive statistics. for youth before and after. So I'm just going to tell it to do that. But there's also a trick. So I can also easily just come here and type equal to analyze, open bracket, and select all of this, close the bracket, of course, naturally. And right here, it will give me, it's loading, another 5 seconds. So if your founder got you into a meeting that was just impromptu and you need to speak to data, while you are thinking, in between your thinking, you can come up with this. So you can see from the data, individuals who transition from unemployed to low-income employment to ETC experience a significant increase in monthly income. So this is suggesting you need to review this suggestion because you have other context and confirm that it actually works. I'll also maybe now go on to tell it to do some descriptive statistics around pre and post. Just basic. I don't want to, because I think I've Godwin, I don't know how much time do I have left. Sorry.
Continue your own course.
Okay. Thank you so much, Godwin. So you can see some descriptive statistics. I'm a big fan of descriptives. We're very, conversant with percentages. Every day we speak to percentages. So they're quite more closer to, your direction. They're
Hi,
quite more,
Abdullahi.
yeah.
Sorry, there are some comment in the chat box. People seem to not get this. Maybe you can look at the comments. Chat.
Oh, thanks. The age column took away letters. Can you repeat the last? Yes, that was what happened. Too fast, sharp. Wow. Apologies. I'll come again. Please, can you repeat? Well, so this is recorded, right? I would recommend you go through the recording because, well, I don't want to leave you behind too. So let me give it a shot. But I recommend you kind of try to stick and pay attention, just so that I use the best of my time. Okay, so let me just go back and revert everything I've done. All right, here is our data. Dun, 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 dun. All right. So here we are. This is where we started. This is Genesis. So I said that I have an AI tool here, which is just a basic free Google extension, or let me say Chrome extension. And I told it I want to do a full sheet analysis. I am going to share the link to get that extension with you. But I can see that the data, the first thing you do is you try to understand the data, then you clean it and move on and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So I said clean the data. So it's going to clean the data in about 6-7 seconds based on the previous. So before it's cleaned, you can see there's some alphabet where we have numbers, which is not supposed to be the case. So you see, thank God I made a mistake. This is good that I made a mistake. So you have to, if you wanted to act on the data set, to click act. But now I asked instead of telling it to, and if you ask as well, it's gonna do that. So initial data loading inspection, blah, blah, blah. It told us that there's some issues with the way it was formatted. So I'm telling it now to act, clean data. So if you ask it, it's just gonna respond. But if you tell it to act, it's actually gonna act. Yeah. So this time around, it went on to tell me even what is wrong and put what is wrong on the spreadsheet and give me a fixed version. So it's kind of did oversabi. In Nigeria, there's a term called oversabi where you tell someone to do something, but they go the extra mile to show that, yeah, they actually can do it. But I don't need all of that data, especially in this conversation. It's not a good use of our time to go through them. So I'm just gonna come here and clean everything that I don't need. Excuse me. So let me go back to the comments to be sure that, excuse me, alhamdulillah, that I've not lost. Thank you so much, felicitors. I hope I did justice to the name. Fantastic. But yeah, I'll still try to, ensure that we move together Yeah. So in the interest of time, I'll just dive right on and tell it to do some descriptive, or let me just, just ask it to tell me about the data. And okay, yeah, before that, I also did something to quick analyze. So it's like instant analyze of the data set equal to analyze, and just highlight everything and say enter. In 5 seconds, it's going to give me a quick analysis, which you can use to do a one-pager report to someone after you've reviewed it and added additional context. So you can see here, it's telling you that unemployment status improvement is telling you about a majority of participants transition from unemployed or underemployed to employed or self-employed, which you can easily see from here. There's obviously more. But I want to go an extra mile and say, give me a detailed analysis and comparison of before and after, and give me, back it up with descriptive and inferential evidence. I hope I'm speaking to a technical audience. Sorry. I hope I'm speaking to a technical audience. So full sheet analysis once again. So I'm gonna ask now, because it's just gonna give it to me here. Or maybe to save time, I'm just gonna tell it to write a report with the insights. Maybe. So I'm just gonna click that because it recommended that to me. And let's see, in 10 seconds, it's gonna give me something, I'm sure. Let me, wow, I was wrong. So let's see how many seconds it's gonna take to give us a report with insights. But the good news is that, well, 16 seconds. So if you can see, and I hope you can, let me just zoom in. So this is the data analysis report. The program demonstrates based on this data. So this is based on this data. So the program demonstrates a significant positive impact on blah, 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 blah. In the interest of time, so let me say something. I have qualitative data still to analyze. You can already see that this can analyze your data. You can, of course, review it against the data. Just do the mean, median, and mode using basic Excel formulas, just to confirm that it's in line. But because I don't have time, I'm just going to copy this and put it in another document, because it is important for what I'm going to do next, right? And we don't have time. So once again, I truly apologize if I'm going fast. Yeah. So you can see all I did was just copy and paste. You can see the normal GPT lines that appear everywhere. All right. So I'm just going to say insights from data analysis. Insights from data analysis of, I don't have time for all of that naming. So I'm going to go now to Notebook, the other tool for the quantitative data analysis. And it's not, again, okay, let me just come here. So remember I said that I have different data sets. So I have quantitative and qualitative data for this employability program. And we did surveys, we did interviews, we did FGDs, and I also took out excerpt qualitative data from the survey itself, the survey response. So this is the interview data. Of course, it is not a complete one. It's just, how do you assess the program graduates you've hired? They're asking them about the graduates they hired. We recently recruited 3 participants. They had clearer CVs, more confidence after the program, blah, blah, blah. And then in the second KII, a major feedback was, yes, the digital skills are relevant. We would recommend the program to emphasize critical thinking. I don't have time for all of that. And you don't either. And this is the FGD, qualitative data again, FGD transcripts. So we have data for FGD from Lagos, female participants only, of course, before and after the program was discussed. We have for Kano, which is a mixed group. We have for Port Harcourt, which is just male, and Abuja, which is female. Don't ask me why, why I did that. And Abuja, which is mixed, and then we have Ibadan, female. This is FGD data transcript. And then we have the survey response. The survey response. This is just one response from an open-ended survey. question. And the question is, what did you find most useful about the program? Think about this as your typical most significant change questions on surveys. And you can see the CV writing, blah, 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 which I also don't have time for. So I'm going to move on from all of this. So what I'm going to do is work with Notebook LM. Notebook LM, also going to share the link. Notebook LM, it's, I'm very sure most of us have used this tool, but I'm not going to assume that all of us have. So Notebook LM is a tool that does a lot of qualitative reviews. You can use it for lit reviews, literature reviews. You can use it for synthesis. It can instantly generate videos from your knowledge products or documents, which I think we should try if time permits. So I'm just going to save all of those documents. Now, ordinarily, I should do a thematic analysis of my survey, of my qualitative data, but we don't have that time. So I'm just gonna do the quack M&E work that, we used to do in our early days when we started out thinking M&E was just, oh, what did this person say? And you write it down. So this is not standard practice. All I'm doing is just showing you what you can do in data analysis with AI. Well, maybe we have time. No, we don't. So first thing I'll do is download all the insights documents. So this is the insight from the data analysis, qualitative data, of course. This is the insight from the FGD. Well, not insights, just transcripts. This is from, that was interview. This is FGD, and then this is responses from a survey question. And then I'm going to download all of them as PDFs. Well, maybe I should just, insert the links. But I'm not, let me just download them as PDF. You can also insert the link, but I've not used that feature a lot of times. So I'll just download them in the interest of time. So downloading this as PDF, and I'm gonna upload all of them subsequently into Notebook LM. So I'm gonna stop sharing my screen. I think I have some proprietary documents I don't think I would want to share on this call. So I'll upload them. It's just an upload feature that you normally use. Upload them, and then I'll share my screen again. Always be cognizant of things you're full of when working with data. Data protection, data privacy, confidentiality, conflicts, etc. Always beware of them. So moving on, I've finished the uploads. I'm gonna just go right into sharing my screen. Yeah, so as I uploaded, and I didn't press anything, I promise you, all I did was click upload and it just started saying things I didn't ask it. Yeah, so I'm just going to start with, tell me briefly about all the documents. Very, very good to always try to understand what you're working with. So it's gone right into it. FGD AI data, this document contains transcripts. These discussions capture participants' personal experience, their feelings. You can now start thinking about sentiments. About job prospects before and after the program, the most useful aspects. Interview, including an HR manager from a commercial bank, blah, blah, blah. Insight from data analysis, all our figures are there. Survey response AI, blah, blah, blah. So I'm just going to go ahead and once again, in the interest of time, do some quack work. I am not here to teach you about, the stages of design, review, writing, and all that. All I'm trying to do is show you what these tools can do. Obviously, I won't have, I think, once again, I'll say that the weapon is only as good as the person who uses it. So I'm just going to dive right into it and say, again, I'm just going to go with the prompt. How did employment status change? And it's going to use all of the data it has to answer that question. I didn't ask it. It was already there. So with one click, it went ahead and said, in the interest of time, I'm just going to click video and audio and all of that, and briefing document, so that it can start generating all of those before I'm done with this. So the program had significant, it has now reviewed all of these documents, quantitative, whatever, and best left to it. If I could, and I wanted to now download OECD DAC framework, edit it and tweak it to suit this program, and put it in and tell me based on the DAC criteria, how did this, anyways, but I'm not doing that. So overall improvement, 80%, 8 out of 10 experience and improvement. Specific examples of transitions, one participant, this will now become all those your stories of change and whatnot. One individual leverage entrepreneurship, training to improve their small barbershop, increasing income from about 25,000 to 70,000 per month. Month on month is quite good. So no change. 20% of participants saw no change in their employment status. Among these, one participant remained a student and another remained unemployed. Despite not securing employment, some participants noted progress. You see, it has started doing that triangulation and synthesis, such as being shortlisted, blah, 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 blah. And then I can say, well, you can easily, I'm sure we're used to prompting, so you can ask all the questions you want to ask, but I've shown us the capabilities. But I wanted to show us also, if we did not know before, that Notebook LM can do this for you. So you can easily, take people through, this is a mind map. So I went straight into key program aspects and benefits. No. I think I would just skip to, okay, yeah, let me do that. So acquired skill relevance, CV writing, interviews, whatnot. You can even just screenshot this and put it in your slide or use it to create your slide or adapt it. Mentorship, real life tips from HR mentors, CV review, blah, blah, blah. All of these are contributions from mentorship. Personal development, you see confidence increasing, improve communication skills, leadership skills, and high participant satisfaction. I am quite sure it will use quantitative data that we use the other tool to analyze. Funny enough, that tool can also do advanced data analysis, difference in difference, all your quasi-experimental and experimental analysis. Good idea is for you to try using SPSS to do some of those things and compare the results, or even do the basic ones, see the results before you advance. In the interest of time, I'll stop here and just show you the video that it created. Hopefully it's something good, but I'll just go ahead and present the video. The video is not done. It's not complete yet. But yeah, you can see it gave us a briefing document. You see, this is basically your report, executive summary, blah, blah, blah. You already have an executive summary here, so. Yeah, so maybe later when the video is complete, I'll just paste it on the M&E Sphere WhatsApp group. Those that were here would note that it is with reference to this, but it's just to show that, it goes the extra mile beyond analysis. Thank you so much, Godwin. And thank you everyone for your time. Cheers.
Abdullahi, thank you so much. I mean, the comment in the chat box says it all. Some of us are seeing this for the very first time. And all I can say is, please, if you know anyone that should be on this call, this is the weekend gift that you should give to them. Send the link to them, let them join the call. And please keep your questions noted down. We're going to have a panel after Desmond's presentation. Then Blair can deepen some of the thoughts that are coming through further. So if you think you have seen it all, I just want to give you, upfront, please sit uptight. Not, this is just, the beginning. So let me make welcome. Please join me in the chat box. Let's make welcome Desmond Bature for his presentation. Please be handy with your writing materials. I'll ask questions after now. Desmond, if you're ready, please take over from here. Thank you.
Hi, Godwin. Thank you very much. So I want to set up a timer to time myself so that I know how many minutes I have left. Okay, great. Maybe I'll put my video for a short time, then turn it off. Okay, so let me just share my screen and then we can start this proper. I want to share, let me just share my entire screen to be much more easier. Please let me know if you could see my screen, please.
Yeah, your
Anyone?
screen is up.
Okay, great. So, yeah, so let me just start with a small presentation. And again, this is an AI masterclass in data analysis. So everything I'm going to be doing here is I used AI to do it, right? To just show you how powerful AI is and how it makes our job easier in M&E in terms of data analysis. Okay, so this slide was developed using AI, and I'll probably show us how to do that. Again, you know, as data analysts, as M&E people, you're often presented with, after your data analysis, if you can't present, I mean, that data analysis is useless. You should be able to present your data at the end of the day. Okay, so AI in quantitative. I'm glad that Abdullah was able to take us through the qualitative, which I've learned quite a lot in it myself. So this is AI in quantitative data analysis. So something that used to take us minutes, something that used to take us weeks. Now we're looking for using AI, we will just do it in minutes. And I will show you what I did while Abdullah was talking. Like in the matter of 10 minutes, I was able to analyze the data, like clean it from the beginning, analyze it, and create a dashboard, right? So this is what I'm trying to say, that it reduces time reduction. It reduces time by like 80%, even more, right? In terms of accuracy, you're dealing with AI, but again, while you deal with AI, right, you need to also understand how it works. You need to understand your data before you give AI to help you, right? And then 40% faster problem identification. There are certain things that you might not see that AI will help you see. That is why we need AI, right? There are certain patterns you cannot see, but AI will be able to see it. So the current state of M&E data analysis. So traditional challenges, we have the issue of manual data cleaning and validation, right? Time intensive statistical analysis, limited capacity for real-time insights, difficulty identifying patterns in large data set, and resource constraints affecting analysis depth, right? What is the impact of this traditional challenges? One, delayed decision making. Sometimes we're done with, before we finish an analysis, you know, we deal with, maybe you're doing an inline assessment. Before you could make use of that inline analysis, you know, the time is already gone. You've done with budgeting and everything. So that analysis is practically useless. Why? Because it took a longer period of time, but AI will help us address that. Missed opportunities of course correction, underutilized data potential, analysis burnt out from repetitive tasks. Yes, which is a very thing. So in AI now, you have what we call AI agents. You can develop your AI agents and then just give them the tasks for them to be doing it, right? You don't have to be doing it. So analysts do experience burnouts. You have eye issues based on always on screen and everything. Limited evidence based on based program improvements, right? So the reality, MI professionals spends like 70% of our time data processing, leaving only 30% for actual analysis and insights. Again, I'll share, this is just a HTML file, easy for sharing. I'll share, you have everything. So AI application in quantitative M&M, quantitative M&E. Now we're going to look at this four concepts, right? As we start the practical aspect of it. So data preprocessing. So we're going to automate cleaning, outlier detection, missing data imputation. Then we're going to see pattern recognition, how AI could help us see a pattern in terms of clustering, segmentation, anomaly detection. Then predictive analysis, which is one aspect of data analysis that's very important. If you're doing predictive analysis, that's automatic data science. So we're going to see outcome forecasting and risk assessments. Then automated insight. Now we want to be able to generate reports, right? Reports should be able to generate itself and dynamic. We want to be able to build dynamic dashboards, right? I know because of time we won't be able to explore all the technologies, but there's definitely certain technologies we can look into today that will help us cover all these four applications we're seeing here. So AI in data processing, I'm not going to explain this. Advanced recognition, not going to explain this. Predictive analysis, we know what that is. Now, one of the things we're going to look at today is using AI in Copilot, AI in VS Studio. So VS Code is an application used for programming, different types of programming, whether software, whether front end, back end, data analysis. You can use it for your Python analysis, R analysis, any type of analysis. You could use it in VS Code. So we're going to look at how we will use GitHub Copilot in VS Code for data analysis, right? So what does GitHub Copilot does? Helps us with code completion, data cleaning scripts, statistical analysis, visualization of code, like code visualization and documentations, right? So for example, here you can see it here that if you have a data set, you can just say clean survey data and remove outliers, and Copilot will automatically do it for you in VS Code. You see the code and you can make correction and all of those things. We're going to look at all of that. Other Copilot functionalities and workflows. I'm sorry, I'm rushing. I want to just be done with this presentation. Let's see. These are the tools, overcoming common concerns. So AI will replace M&A professional reality. AI augments human capabilities. Focus shifts from data processing to interpretation and strategy. AI enable analyst, insight strategy. So that's what we're trying to do now. People feel like because AI is here, AI will replace their jobs. No, actually, AI is more like your help, right? AI cannot work on its own, right? It needs some kind of level of guidance and corrections. AI is too complex and expensive. Well, I'm going to show you that AI is simple. It's just prompting. You just need to prompt and it does everything. Our data isn't ready for AI. Every data is ready for AI. So ethical considerations. Now, data privacy and security protocols. You need to understand that. I'm glad that Abdullah did mention things around ethical considerations. When you're working with data set, number one, you need to understand that you do not feed the complete data set to the AI. AI is guiding you, right? If your organization has Copilot for Enterprise or Gemini for Enterprise, that means you could use that platform for complete data analysis because your data is protected because this is enterprise. So whatever data you're feeding is within your company's subscription. But if you're using the free version of it or you're using your personal own, then the data you're feeding it could be used to train the AI, which is bridging data privacy, right? And all of those things. There are a lot of policies on data or ethical consideration when it comes to data. So it's something that we need to be very careful with when we are working with data. So these are some of I've gathered some essential YouTube tutorials, links that you could follow, setting up GitHub for Copilot, Power BI, Copilot, AI in data analysis, Power AI. So all of these things, there's the links. You could easily just copy a link and go to, and you should be able to see, that. So yeah, we will go into the practical aspect now, but let me see if there are any chats going on. I see a lot of chats coming up. Okay. Okay. Can everybody still hear me?
Yes, we can still hear you.
Okay, good.
We can hear you.
All right. So now I'm going to start with something I did just now. And I'm going to start with Claude AI. I love using Claude AI because I'm a bit biased, but it's a bit more advanced than ChatGPT, even though they released ChatGPT 5, that's still fine. But I use Claude AI quite a lot because of its knowledge skills in data analysis. Now, let me show you the dashboard we created in 5 minutes. Like while Abdullah was doing his presentation, this was a dashboard we created. Like all I did was just feed the data set and it generated this. And I'm going to walk us through what happened, right? We're able to see that there's a title, we have an executive summary, and you see the insights here, right? These are the insights, which is very easy for anyone to understand. At the end of the day, as a data analyst, you want your dashboard to speak for itself. You don't have to be there to explain the dashboard to people, right? You want the dashboard to explain itself. And AI has the best way of summarizing data. Sometimes you might have a block, a data analyst block, where you can't think clearly, right? You can't think clearly. So generating insight might be a bit difficult, right? So summarizing your insight might be a bit difficult. But with the help of AI, you could do that, right? AI could summarize this for you. And AI could also generate themes for your analysis. So we're seeing theme one, temporal growth trends, right? And so on and so forth. Just show you, and the data and this thing is interactive, right? You could see when I hover over it, and this is just a simple HTML file, right? It's a simple HTML file. And I could show you that this is it. Like after AI has done this, I'm just going to download it as HTML. And I could share it with anybody. So let me just do that. Don't worry, I'm going to walk us through how to do this from the beginning to the end. I still have 29 minutes. So see, right, this is the dashboard. I will just click on open and we have the same dashboard. I could make corrections if I want to, right? So let's look at the data set we're going to use. Remember, I'm focusing more of the quantitative approach, right? So the data set I'm looking for to use is this data set, right? Is this data set. Now, this is the data set around data science jobs available, right? It was a survey from 2020 to 2022, capturing different data science jobs, data architects, machine learning, all of those things, their salary, whether they're working fully remote, and so on and so forth. Now, one of the things I would like us to understand here is when you open a data set, when you start working with a data set, you need to understand the data. Sometimes understanding the data might be a little bit of challenge, right? So this is where we're going to do something before I show us what I want us to do. If understanding a data set is a bit difficult for you, right? This is what you can do. Remember I said, if you're using, this is a dummy data, so I can feed all this data to AI, right? But if I'm using an organization data, I'm not going to feed the whole data set to AI unless my organization buys or subscribes to an enterprise version of that AI. So the first thing you consider doing is probably just highlight the first 5 rows, right? Let's highlight the first 5 rows. And then I'm going to copy them. And I'm going to switch to, let me go to Claude. Let me start a new chat. Okay, let me start a new chat. And I'm going to say, I have this data set. I have this 5 rows of data. I need you to help me understand the data set and come up with data analysis, or come up with data, come up with different analysis I could do. Then I'm going to just paste this. I think somebody's mic is open. Right, I'm just going to paste what I copied and I'm going to feed it. I might say, keep in mind, I am using Excel for the analysis. Now, let's watch it do something, right? Give it some time to go through what you've given it. And so because Claude is a bit advanced, so it does the thinking, it will do a lot of thinking and then come up with what you have. Now, already you are seeing Excel analysis idea. So data overview, right? Job roles, experience level, and so on and so forth. Now you can see you can do basic descriptive statistics, which include calculating mean mode, and it's even suggesting the formula or the function you could use, right? Salary ranges by experience level. What does that mean? You could do salary range by experience level, count of position by job title. So this is just basic descriptive statistics. Then you could do comparative analysis. That is what salary by experience level, right? Company size impact. The company size has an impact on the money people get paid. You can do geographical analysis. Why? Because it saw that there is a location or a geographic data there. So you could do geographic analysis year on year. Then you could do Excel visualization. You could do advanced Excel, that's correlation analysis, and so on and so forth. Now, you will see at the end of the question, at the end of the output, you see, will you like me to help you set up specific analysis in Excel, or will you prefer to expand this data set first for more robust insight? Again, this is just us asking AI to help us understand the data and make suggestions for us on the type of analysis we could do, right? That is one aspect of using AI in quantitative data analysis. Now, let's look at allowing AI to handle everything, right? So I'm going to start a new chat. And this is what I'm going to say. I'm going to tell the AI that I need you. So if you're struggling with prompting, right, which prompting engineering is quite a big thing. If you're struggling with prompting, you could make the AI to create a prompt for you that you can feed it. So I'm going to just say, I need you to come up with a prompt, or rather, let me just, instead of typing all this, let me just explain the one I did. Where is it? Come up. Okay. All right, let me scroll back up, 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 up. Okay, so this is what I wrote, right? This is what I wrote. I need you to come up with a prompt that will be fed to an AI to analyze a data set. The prompt should contain instructions to clean the data set. Remember, you have to think you are a data analyst, right? So if you're starting analysis, what's the first step of analysis? Is cleaning, right? Clean the data is the first part. Remember, we say data analysts or M&E people spend 70% of their time cleaning data. Now, we want to see clean the data set, analyze the data, and generate visualization by teams. So what we mean by teams is we want it to break it down to teams. This is what I'm talking about. So you see, this is team 1, temporal growth trends. Team 2, experience level distribution. Team 3, remote work landscape. Team 4, salary distribution. So this is what we consider as teams. You do the analysis by teams. Each visualization should have its insight and dashboard. And the dashboard should be in HTML for sharing. Now, this is the prompt it came out with. So this is the prompt it came out with. Comprehensive data analysis and visualization. You are a data analyst, so this is the prompt I'm supposed to feed it. So instead, let me just copy this so that we do it afresh together. Control C. I'm going to start a new chat, and I'm just going to paste this. And then I'm going to send it. And then let's watch it do. Now it's more like generating the prompts that you could use, right? So I'll create a this, and then it's going to do it. So now it's starting with phase 1, data exploration and understanding. Load and examine the data, identify this, generate this, right? Then data profiling, then it's going to do the data cleaning and pre-processing. Then phase 3, we do the exploratory data analysis. Then phase 4 is going to do the visualization and insight generation. Then phase 5 is going to do the HTML dashboard creation. Now, I have it generate these prompts. Now, this is what I'm going to do. It's more like, I don't want to say manipulate the AI, but again, this is what I'm doing. I'm now going to feed it the data set. Remember I said we're going to use a dummy data set. So I'm going to feed it that data set. This is the data set, right? And I'm going to click open. And I'm now going to say, use the prompt generated to analyze this data set. And, and I will just say, go. It doesn't care how you spell it. It understands your spelling. So now I'll just sit back and let it do its thing. Like, I'm not going to touch anything. It's going to use JavaScript to do the data analysis, include Python to do the data cleaning, and what have you. So it's going to be doing everything, every step of the way. Okay, I still have 20 minutes. So this is it doing everything, right? It's doing step by step, following the prompt it generates. So this is the prompt it generated. Now it's more like the AI is following its own prompts to analyze the data. Again, we're not saying that you should depend solely on this, but it should be able to give you an idea of what you could do, right? Again, I've not opened Excel. I've not done, like, there's a whole lot of things we could do. I have my VS Code open here, and we're going to explore how you're going to even do in-depth analysis with Copilot in VS Code. If not because of time, we could always, maybe there'll be a part 2 of this class. We could explore Copilot in Power BI, Copilot in Excel, Copilot in PowerPoint. How AI helps you spend less time on doing analysis and dashboard design and presentation and so on and so forth. Again, it's just doing its thing, right? So let's just allow it to do whatever it wants to do. And the beautiful part about it is I can really just go to another tab, and it will continue doing whatever it's supposed to do, so long as my internet connection is good. I assume that the information that you are analyzing, if the information is in manual paper form, would you first have to scan or type it manually into an Excel? So that's a very good question. If the data is clear enough, let me see, is this thing done yet? No, not done. Let me open Excel. The beautiful part about this is you can have Excel for mobile devices, and you could see that there's where you could scan data. Hold on. Good. You could get data from picture. So basically, if you have like a you have data in a paper, like in a tabular form or something, you could simply just scan it, right? Put it on your laptop, open up Excel, come to data, and you're going to see this picture from file, right? So if you're going to look for where the picture is, click on the picture and then click on open. Excel will extract the data into the into the rows and columns. Just something you could do. If you have the mobile version, it could do it directly from the mobile version, but again, that's one aspect of it. So this is still going on. Okay. All right. Good. Now it's creating. So you see, it's done the analysis. Now it's creating the dashboard, right? So these are the steps it followed for the analysis based on the prompt it generated for itself. And the beautiful part about it is you could click down and then you could see everything that it was doing, right? You don't need to know much about uh, coding, right? But again, the knowledge on coding will be helpful in terms of debugging. But at some point, AI is getting smarter every day, right? So we just let it do its thing. But in Copilot, in VS Studio for Copilot, we'll see um, how we could debug using code, using AI as well in terms of. So let me start while this is still developing the dashboard, right? You could see a lot of coding, right? It's still doing the generation of the dashboard, right? Now, let's just open VS Code. So to install VS Code, I think in that link, in that presentation, you see the link and guide on how to install VS Code and how to connect it to Copilot. So forgive me for skipping that step. Now, what I want to do is I'm going to open up that file, or let me open the folder, and it's AI Masterclass. I'm going to select the folder. And let me close this. Good, I have this data set. Is that same data set, This is the same data set, right? But again, forgive the gibberish because it's in table, right? Don't worry about this gibberish because it was in a table. But let me see, is this thing done? Good, this is done. Again, look at how simple it is. We came from this, then after that, we now said, use the prompt generator to analyze this data set. Now, all I'm going to do is I'm just going to click this part and press on download. Download as HTML, and I'm going to open the file. You have something, you have what is it called? A navigator here. Unlike this one didn't have a navigator, right? So this is a dashboard, like based on the analysis, this is a comprehensive dashboard. We can see the executive summary, and you can see that it is what? It is responsive, right? You see all this small animation going. Then you see the executive summary, key insight, explosive growth. The data science job market grew 347% from 2020, blah, 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 blah. This is the executive insight. Whoever is looking at your dashboard can make sense of this, right? Then sales, salary analysis by experience level. So we're seeing this and this. Now, I don't like that I'm not seeing the labels until I hover over it, right? I don't like that I'm not seeing the labels. Although there's some ones that I shouldn't see the labels, just like line charts. These are line charts. I shouldn't see the labels because it will look a little bit clumsy, right? But I'm going to tell it that, okay, based on what it did here, I'm just going to say impressive. However, I need you to show the labels on all the chart except for line charts. So it's going to now go back and redo the whole analysis again. Now, while that is happening, right, I just wanted to show us that, you see, this came up well, and we have navigations, right? We have navigations happening. Okay. Now let's go back to this. So for this, I've loaded this data set already, right? I've loaded this data set. This is Excel. Now, I said Excel, this is VS Code. Now, in Copilot, we have something called Copilot agents. Now, GitHub Copilot has those agents. Now, when you follow the tutorial in that, in the links I provided, you're going to end up having something like this toggle chart. Now, you're going to see that it already, at the bottom here, it already loaded the data set for us. Now, this is the scenario. Now, I said do not feed your data set to AI. Now, this is not you feeding, this method now is not you feeding your data set to AI. You're working locally on your laptop. However, it is taking your data set and looking at data set, but it is not taking your data set to Microsoft Server. It is working locally on your laptop. Now, so this is what I would just say. Analyze this data set using the standard analysis procedure. Include visualizations, and under each visualization, I want you to include the insights. Use Jupyter Notebook. So Jupyter Notebook is where you use is the notebook you use for data analysis in Python. Now, at the bottom part here, you could see there's Ask, there's Edit, there's Ask, and there's Agent. Now, Agent will act as a human being, right? Agent will act as a human being. It's like you doing the work, but it's actually AI doing the work. So I have my agent selected, and I'm just going to say go, and then let's watch what happens with this. So you see, it's already creating new Jupyter Notebook, and then it will continue doing its thing. It has started already, right? It has started data analysis job. Data set analysis is importing all the necessary libraries that you need, right? It's loading the data for preview. Data cleaning is handling data cleaning at the bottom here. Data visualization, distribution, plots, insight from the plots. Then you have the data visualization correlation heat map, insight from the heat map, and so on and so forth, right? So data visualization box plot, insight from box plots, right? So it's giving you that, okay, imported these pandas, loaded these, data cleaning, this, and this, right? Let's switch to, you can see I'm doing two things concurrently, right? Now let's download this new version of this data set, right? Let's download the new version and then let's open it. And then let's see if it implemented what we wanted it to implement. Did it do that? I don't think it did. I don't think it did. What did it do here? Or I will just tell it I don't need to hover before seeing the labels. Again, this is why I said you need to know what you're doing to correct it. I don't need to hover before seeing the labels. I need to see the data labels by default. Then let it continue doing its thing. Now let's go back to VS Code. Now the first thing that's happened is, let me close the chat. Now we see data analysis, data science jobs, data set analysis. Now in VS Code, we could implement machine learning where we do predictive analysis. Now I can also say, do a predictive, include a predictive analysis for the next, let's say 3 years, and visualize it. So it's going to add up to the next part, right? It's going to add up. Now you see predictive analysis for the next 3 years. In this section, we'll focus the key metrics, average salary, job openings. This is it for the next 3 years. Now you see it's including machine learning into it, right? It's including machine learning. Now we can see that this model, this is sklearn.linear model. This is the model for AI. You see it's missing, right? Because we're importing linear regression, right? The model linear regression. But it needs to, well, before we come to that, I just wanted to show us how it would debug itself and solve the problem itself. But let's start executing from the first part. How many minutes do I have? I have 6 more minutes. So it's imported what's it called? It imported the respective modules or respective libraries that it needs to. If you're familiar with data analysis in Python, you know that pandas, numpy, matplotlib, and seaborn, these guys are for visualization, while these guys are for data manipulation. So I'm going to execute this one first. You can see it's connecting to kernel, and then it executes, right? You can see this check mark, success. Then I'm going to execute the second one. Then there's a problem. Now, because there's a problem, I'm going to just click on the line and click on this and say fix. I just need to fix the problem. Okay, and I'm going to say check, accept, load. It fixed the problem, right? Now we see the display. So you see that I didn't know how to know what the code was telling me. All I needed to do was just click on where the error was, and an icon for Copilot appeared, and I just clicked on it and I said fix. Now it loaded, just to give us a sample. Remember, this code is just a preview, load and preview the data set. It's just trying to preview the data set for us, right? So we have done this. It's previewing. Let me close this for good visualization, right? Now, for data cleaning and pre-processing, now it's going to check for missing values. It's going to also check for duplicates. If there's any duplicate value, it will drop the duplicates. Then it's going to display the data types, right? Now you see how robust or how detailed it is if we're doing the analysis in VS Code, right? If we're doing the analysis in VS Code, it shows us the step-by-step processes. Unlike on Claude, where it just does everything, it doesn't tell you what it's doing, it just do everything. Now I'm going to execute this. Missing value, it checked all the columns, there were no missing values, and then it displayed the data types for us. ID is an object, work here is an integer, experience level object. So object is more like strings, right? Object are strings. Then you have locations are also, so these are what? These are the data types in Python, right? Now we want to do descriptive statistics. So df.describe is just a basic way of generating the simple Python code to generate. Sorry, I'm teaching Python. I'm doing AI, not Python. So we're seeing that the counts, the mean, the standard deviation, the minimum value, 25%, 50%, 7%, and max. That is that. We can also add more code if we want. We can engage with this line of code even more thanks to the Copilot in VS Code, right? Now, let's start working on data visualization. Remember, I didn't code anything. This is something that will take you like 2 hours or 3 hours, and we're doing it in like what, 5 minutes? It didn't even take up to 5 minutes. So data visualization. This is data visualization, right? Can you see how easy it was? Distribution of work here. Like we generated, and the beautiful part about it is we can copy this. And if we have PowerPoints, let me see. Do we have a PowerPoint? Okay, yes. I can easily copy this thing. Let me just paste it somewhere. I can just paste it here if I want. That same visual it did, and then we can explain this in our PowerPoint and stuff. So this is distribution of salary. We can see that most of the salary are what around this area, right? Then it's just few people that are earning from 300 or from 200 down up to 600, but most of the salaries around 100 to 150, right, on average. So we can go back to this, then click on the next visualization correlation heat map to see if we have any correlation. So work here and salary, is there any correlation? Now, I can decide to do even more correlation. I can tell him that I need more correlation analysis if I want to, but won't do that because of time. Then box plots, right? It could easily generate box plots for us. You don't have, remember we said using AI helps us with correctness, right? It helps us with accuracy. So this is the box plot. If the box plot doesn't make sense, we can ask the chat, we can ask the AI to even make it to make more sense for us. Then we have predictive analysis. Remember I said, let's try executing this predictive analysis. You see that error, right? It was trying to bring that the data science model, but it couldn't find it. All I need to do is just click on this and say what? Fix. No model names kit. So it's going to say we should pip install it, right? I'm going to just accept. I'm going to accept this. Okay. So it's saying that that module wasn't installed, therefore we needed to install it, right? Now, so you see it automatically brought it up here. So it's going to execute the pip install skitlearn first before it executes anything, right? So you can see at the top part is doing what? It's running that pip install skitlearn. So this is the data science model that it needed to install first before running this. That was why when we did it, it didn't run the code at the first place. Right. I just have a minute. Let's go back to this. Let's go back to this. Is it done? Okay. Is it done? I think it is. Okay. Sorry, I'm multitasking. So you see, I could have AI running different analysis for me while I'm doing other things, right? This is the advantage of AI in data analysis, right? So let's see if it still didn't do that. Am I downloading the wrong thing? However, we were able to generate this bit. This is something that will take us hours, if not days, to do. But with this, you have everything you need, and it's interactive. Yes, it's not showing what's it called, the labels as I wanted it to. But again, when we hover over it, we could see what is showing us, right? We could see the the labels as we hover over them. So let's go back to this guy. Right. This is the forecast. So you see, it didn't execute the first time because that machine learning module was missing, right? But when it fixed itself, right, AI detected and then it fixed itself, it ran all the machine learning. Keep in mind that if you're doing machine learning, it will take a lot of your system power. So this is the forecast in the next 3 years. You see the forecast? The trend is that this is the salary trend, and this is the salary trend in the next 3 years. And it projected that salary of anybody in data science will go even higher 2023, 2025. And it's true that now data scientists are hotcakes, right? Depending whether you're a data engineer, data analyst, lead, whatever, these people are the ones having the most money now. So based on the data it had, it did a predictive analysis, and we have what? This. So yeah, I will stop here and hand over back to Godwin. It's a lot of things, but I hope that somebody was able to learn one or two things. Thanks. My time is up.
Hmm. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. What an amazing time it has been. Well done. Thank you so much, Desmond, for sharing this with us. I've been looking at the chat box and the comment is just so humbling. This is so, so, so insightful. I mean, things that we spend weeks doing, sometimes you end up having headache trying to figure out what data is talking about, or what the data is talking about, trying to, clean. All of that can be done, in a short time. And I just want to say thank you to you and Abdullahi for, sharing this insight with us. The quality of what is being taught is free. Yeah, I mean, even some classes that you pay for, you won't get this value. So please, let's appreciate our speakers and let's appreciate them. Yes, I mean, we can say that again, very explicit. These are things that, people do not want to share until you pay. But I'm happy that we're getting this all for free. So right about now, I know as you're listening, you have some, questions perhaps that you want to ask or you want some bit of clarification here and there. So we're going to spend the next 30 minutes to, just wrap it up so that you can leave this session, very well equipped to do your work even more better than you used to do, leveraging generative AI. Okay, so I know when Abdullahi started, he did run us through, and some of you had, some thoughts. So this is the time. If you have any question you noted down, maybe either from Mr. Desmond's presentation or Mr. Abdullahi, just get ready. You signify and then you ask your question. Um, and then we'll take in that order for the next 30 minutes to talk about it. And perhaps they may want to even share their screen and then maybe show that particular thing that you have within the confine of the time we allocated. But just to mention these resources, Abdullah, you mentioned he was going to share some links. He has already done that already with me. And with the one that Desmond is going to share, we're going to post it on the MISphere WhatsApp group. If you're on that group, you have nothing to worry. We'll share it. Otherwise, I'll just drop the link for anyone that wish to join the WhatsApp community, and then we can, share all of those resources there. Amazing people are on that community. I bet you are going to have, a lot of other colleagues that are doing the same thing in this space, and you benefit from that community. Okay, Desmond has shared his own here, so you can join. Just click on that. So if you have any question, please signify by raising up your hand, and then I can call you to ask your question. Let me see. Is there anyone that has raised their hands now? Earlier on, Abdullah was speaking. He talked about Gemini for Google Sheet and then Notebook LMS. I hope I got that correct. So he has shared the link with me. I'm going to drop you on the WhatsApp group so that you can just follow and add those things to your work tools. Does anyone have question? I'm still waiting. I want to believe that okay, Fatima Essential has learned a lot today. She's appreciating the facilitators. So, okay, I can see Abdullahi hand is up. So, Abdullahi, over to you. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think, I don't know if you're breaking or it's my end that I'm unable to hear you clearly.
Thank
Hello, Abdullahi, if you can, is anyone able to hear him clearly?
you.
His voice is really breaking, like the network.
Yeah, Abdullahi, I think your network is acting up, or we're unable to hear you clearly. Okay, someone is asking if the Copilot tutorial link can be shared again, the link to the Copilot tutorial. Abdullahi, maybe you can try again. Your network was a bit unstable.
I think he dropped a chat. How can we apply this to have an interactive dashboard? Yes, I don't know
Or
if Abdullah can hear me. Godwin, can I just answer just in case?
yes, yes, please go on. And then after that, we'll take Ismail Agbaje.
Okay. So in terms of applying this to interactive dashboard, it depends on what tool you're using. So that's why I said because of time duration, I could have explored Copilot in Power BI, where you could apply uh, when you share your dashboards, like at the beginning of your dashboard, you could just feed Power BI your data set and then ask it to just generate a dashboard. It will generate insightful dashboard with that are interactive. What we mean by interactive is in the sense that you could play around with it, change filters, and so on and so forth. And when you publish that Power BI dashboard, people could use natural language to ask questions, and Copilot will be able to give it answer based on your what's it called based on your dashboard. Um, I don't know if it's okay, Godwin, to just share something with respect to that. I think I have one dashboard open that I could just share on how this will. Can I go ahead, Godwin, please, just
Yes,
briefly?
we're seeing the confines of the time. So please go on. We have some time.
Okay. All right. So I have Godwin. Can you let me know when you can see my screen, please?
Yeah, you're presenting now. It's up.
Okay, great. So this is a Power BI dashboard. This is a Power BI dashboard that it has to do with student performance, right? And based on what we have here, I could simply just, again, I've not put this out in public, but I could simply just click on Get Insights, right? I could get insights, and based on it could automatically get me overall number of students currently at 5,000. This is this. I can see other insight from here, and so on and so forth, right? If I go to maybe the next, if I go to the next page, you can see it's giving me the key insight from this. Now I did not include the space for what's it called, the natural language questions. If you do have, you could just ask it a question based on what you're seeing, right? So there are other complicated things we could implement on the dashboards. If I switch here, you see that this everything is changing, right? So, and then if you're designing the dashboard using Power BI desktop, right? In terms of DAX is one of the complicated, that's data analysis expression, a language for data analysis in Power BI. It's a bit, people find it a bit difficult, but with Copilot, you can just say, okay, I need it to generate a DAX formula for me to calculate. You already have the thing you have the idea in your head, but you don't know how to code in DAX. Copilot will be able to will do that for you and implement it, and then you're going to have what you want to do at that developing stage. So yeah, that I hope I answered the question briefly, Abdullah.
Okay, Abdullah, can you confirm if your question has been answered? Oh yeah, he has just dropped a message. Okay, thank you, Abdullahi. So we'll be moving on to take okay, well noted, Abdullahi. Ismail Agbaje, if you are ready, please unmute and then ask your
So,
question.
yeah, thank you so much for this wonderful section. My question I want to address Mr. Desmond. Please, actually, the I came late to the training section, but I met the part of the cloud AI that used to do the interactive dashboard. So I want to ask, can we use the AI to do a dashboard, I think for an NGO a data set? Because in where I'm working, we have a very large data set for any form of program we are doing. So can we use that cloud AI to project the dashboard instead of using Power BI? And perhaps, I want to ask also that this AI of a thing, is it reliable that okay, it cannot cut off a large data set, or is there anyone that can recommend that we can be used for a dashboard instead of using Power BI? Thank you.
Okay, that's a brilliant question, Ismail. Can you confirm you can hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Thank you. I can hear you.
Okay, great. Yes, you can. But in when you say you have a large data set, right? And this is where again, remember, I think you said you were not, you didn't start with us. So one of the things we are worried about is we don't want AI to have access to our organization data, right? That is against data ethics, right? However,
Okay.
if your organization has a enterprise subscription of AI, so you could share maybe like in the former organization I've worked with, Creative, you see they bought the enterprise version of Copilot. So you see Creative Associates Copilot, right? That means I could use that Copilot for analyzing or creating dashboard for the organization because the data is within the organization scope. But so long as it's not bought or subscribed by an organization, that means the data could be used for training the AI, which is against data policies or data ethics. So it's conditional. And then in terms of developing the dashboard, now I will always recommend Power BI, right? Because Power BI gives you advanced functionalities in terms of security. Again, it's not just about the visualization. It's not just about that. Data analysis deals with also needs to consider the security, your ability to share that dashboard with people, right? Therefore, and then you still have Copilot embedded in Power BI. But if you want to not go the route of Power BI, right, you could go with Cloud. This is Cloud AI, which is what I just used for designing the dashboard, right? You could go with Cloud AI, or you could easily do, you could use, which is a bit advanced, but I will still tell you, you could use VS Code, right? Your data set. Now, the problem with using Cloud AI is when you have a data set that is 1 million lines, you're going to suffer to deal with it, right? You need to subscribe to a more premium subscription, which is what we are trying to avoid unless your organization will pay for it. But if your organization will not pay for it, VS Code is the perfect place to go. But for VS Code, if you're looking at developing a dashboard for access, you need to know web web development because this what I just showed that the dashboard projected on a HTML. You need to learn how to do it for you to create. You need to learn web development and then Python for you to do it. So best case scenario is hog Power BI, learn Power BI to be able to do all those things with Power BI, right? I'm always available. Maybe there will be a part two of this. I don't know. It's all up to God. But I hope I was able to answer some part of your question, Ismaila.
Thank you, Mr. Deadmos. Actually, yes, very well, very well. So the last part you mentioned that okay, you will always be available. So I hope the anchor of this section will allow me to have your contact, or how will I try to to get in touch for further guidance and everything. So thank you so much. So please concerning the uh, enterprise subscription. Also, maybe if is the opportunity for to meet with you on one-on-one for private section, I'll have to know how to go about the enterprise subscription as well. Thank you.
Sure.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Desmond, for that deep and detailed explanation. So, Mr. Ismail, the good thing is that all our speakers, they're on LinkedIn. So these days, you don't necessarily have to wait to have somebody's contact. Just go on LinkedIn and then you can take the conversation from there. But I'll be happy to share any contact with their permission, of course, to you. And for everyone who is on the MIE Sphere group, you have access to all of these people. So it's not a problem. So this moment, I know when Abdullahi was presenting, someone was asking if that step could be repeated. The part that it has to do with the quant. Abdullahi, I don't know if you're able to just do that last step again. I know I saw a question about that for someone who felt that was quite fast and he couldn't get it. If you're able to just, show us one more. We still have some 20 minutes to make do with today's session.
Yeah, thank you, Godwin. Will you be kind to come again with the ask?
Okay, so let me just go through the chat so that I can reference the aspect that the question was
Okay.
about. So there's a step that someone was asking if you could repeat a particular step.
Oh, I think it
Yeah,
was the analyze step.
yeah,
Yeah.
analyze.
Okay. Sure. Let me, and I'll add a bonus if
Oh, great. Oh,
if
great. Oh, great.
yeah, do I already share, but I'll just add it for the audience. What am I even sharing? I forgot what I'm sharing. So let me just share it again. Chrome tab. So it was the quick analysis step. So one thing you can do with Gemini for Sheets is you can do quite a number of things, but let me show you the source for the functions. So here, when you go to the sheet, after you've of course installed the extension, you can just come here to say use Gemini formulas, and then the formulas will pop up. So here we go. Equals to Gemini equals to write, translate. Yes, it can translate. Rephrase, tag, summarize. I search, analyze, but what I did was analyze anyways. So I'll just say equal to analyze. And you know what? Let's make this a bit more complex. Let's make this a bit more complex. So let me just copy this data and put it into at least 100 more rows. Because someone mentioned that when the data is large, there's some challenge. So I'll just intentionally make this data a bit more. Yeah, I think let's just imagine that the employability program had 1,000 beneficiaries. So let me go ahead and make this 1,000 at least. Well, this is 1,200. So this should cut it. This is a test for us to see whether or not it will actually analyze up to 1,000. So analyze. Of course, I want everything analyzed. I highlight the entire data set within the spreadsheet and I hit enter and I wait for it. Unknown function. Oh, wrong spelling. Analyze. Just imagine. Yeah. So I hold my breath. So I'll literally hold my breath until it gives me the result. If I don't respond at all, at least if I fall down, let me open my camera. If I fall down, you call for help. Godwin has my address. So yeah, I didn't faint. So yeah, I did go ahead and analyze over 1,000 rows, and column A to H, which is I think eight. Yeah, 8 columns. So yeah, I think it's quite good. Yeah, so I think that was the step. And the bonus is as pertains to notebook LM. Let's go to the quantitative end. So yes, we did go ahead and complete all the whole analysis. But let's say you are pressed for a visual demonstration of what your data is saying or what the result of the intervention is. So this is a 6-minute video that I'm gonna play now. We can
So how do you go from feeling
we can watch it to just take a look at what it's with a click as well. I just hit one button, displays, and it gave me the video, so I didn't do any prompting. So yeah, from invisible, yeah. I think I'll just import the video from my my downloads because I can't trust the internet. So give me a second to.
So while you're
And
doing that, Abdullahi, there is a question that is asking if the sheets extension in well, I mean the Gemini for sheet, if it's free or someone need to pay for it.
yeah, it's free. As a rule of thumb, I try not to speak about paid tools when I go into this kind of sessions. So yeah, it's free.
Okay.
So this is the video that Notebook LM gave me without a prompt, with just a click. So are we ready? Please let's take a look at the screen and listen. There's also a tool that you can use, especially for African audience, to change this voice to African voice. And anyways, let's dive right into it.
For so many people, a degree is supposed to be this golden ticket, right? The key to the future. But what happens when that key just doesn't seem to fit any of the locks? It's a huge problem. Today, we're going to look at a program that's trying to change that, turning all that potential into actual, tangible progress. So let's dive in. Okay, just listen to this. Honestly, I was very discouraged. I felt invisible to employers. Wow, that that just hits you, right? It's from a young graduate in Lagos, and it perfectly sets the scene. It's that raw, gut punch feeling of frustration that, so many people go through. You've got the piece of paper, the qualifications, but you just cannot get your foot in the door. And look, this isn't just one person's story. This is a massive, widespread challenge. You do everything you're supposed to do, right? You go to university, you get the degree, and then what? You're just stuck, kind of in this limbo with no clear path forward. And that's what leads to so much youth unemployment and, underemployment. So let's really dig into that feeling. What does it actually feel like to be invisible to employers? Before we jump into the solution, we really have to get our heads around the starting point for these young people. That heavy, emotional weight of having all this potential, but just no opportunity. And this quote, man, this gets right to the heart of it. I was just at home depending on my parents, which made me feel useless. It's so much more than just not having a salary, isn't it? It's about losing your independence, your sense of purpose. And like this young woman from Lagos said, having to depend on your parents like that, it can just crush your sense of self-worth. Okay, so that's the problem. It's a big one. So how do you possibly bridge that huge gap between feeling useless and feeling empowered? Well, it turns out you start with skills. This is where things start to change. This is where the real transformation happens, turning all that discouragement into actual, tangible results. And we're not talking about some abstract university-style theory here. Nope. This program focused on the real-world nuts and bolts of what it takes to get hired and actually succeed. Things like, how do you write a CV that someone will actually read? How do you ace that interview? And crucially, how do you master the digital skills like marketing and Excel that employers are desperately looking for? So, did it work? Well, the results kind of speak for themselves. Check out this number, 80%. That's the headline right there. A whopping 80% of the people in this program saw a real positive change in their job situation. That means they went from having no job to having one, or from a pretty low-paying informal gig to a much better, more stable role. And of course, with new and better jobs comes more money. A significant amount, actually. For those who got a pay bump, the average increase per month was over 51,000 naira. Now, that is not just some statistic on a slide. For a lot of these young people, that's a truly life-changing amount of money every single month. And if you want to know what that really means for someone, listen to this. A young guy from Port Harcourt said, "After learning digital marketing, I now run social media pages for 2 small businesses." He's earning about 40,000 naira a month from it. But the key part is what he says next. "It gives me independence." See? It's not just a paycheck. It's freedom. It's the power to control your own life. So yeah, the jobs and the money are obviously huge. But what's really fascinating here is that the transformation went so much deeper than that. This program actually sparked a fundamental shift in how these young people saw themselves. It was all about confidence. I mean, just look at this contrast. This is the internal journey we're talking about. People went from feeling useless to gaining real confidence, from being shy and discouraged to stepping up and becoming leaders. They didn't just learn how to do a task, they learned how to collaborate, how to communicate, how to be part of a team. It's a total personal transformation. And you want a concrete example? How about this one? A young woman from Ibadan said, "I used to be shy, but now I can speak up." Okay, great. But then she adds, "I even contested for class representative at my university and I won." Can you believe that? She didn't just get better at job interviews, she developed the self-belief to run for office and win. That's incredible. Okay, but let's be real. The participants' stories are amazing, but they're only half the equation, right? What about the people on the other side of the desk, the ones doing the hiring? What did they think? Let's take a look at the view from the workplace. And this is just fantastic validation for the whole program. An HR manager at a big commercial bank said, honestly, they were better prepared than most entry-level applicants. Get that? Not just as good as, better prepared. They had sharper CVs, more confidence in interviews, and this genuine eagerness to learn. They really stood out. But, no program is ever perfect. It's always important to look at things critically and ask the tough questions. So, for a truly balanced picture, we have to ask, was there room for improvement? And yeah, the feedback was super clear and constructive. From the employer side, they said the technical skills were great, but they love to see even more emphasis on things like critical thinking and problem solving. And the participants, they wanted more direct links with companies, more networking opportunities, and a longer mentorship period to get that all-important follow-up support. This next point might be one of the most powerful outcomes of the whole thing, and maybe it wasn't even the main goal. The program didn't just build skills, it built a community. Just listen to this quote. Networking with other participants was inspiring. We still shared job openings among ourselves. That's amazing. That network is still alive, still
Hmm. Fantastic. I think the video is done playing, Abdullahi.
helping people find jobs long after the official program.
Amazing, amazing. Like things you can just do within, a few minutes. I can just imagine how long it's going to take if you want to do all of this manually. Thank you so much,
Minute.
Abdullahi.
So,
Yeah. So do you still have one more thing you want to show us before we wrap things up from here? Okay, I guess I'll take the silence for a no, and maybe perhaps your network is, not stable. Thank you so much. It has been very, very wonderful. I don't know about you, but I think my time was well spent. I learned quite a few things myself. So let's just appreciate our speakers. Desmond has to drop off to attend to other things, but I'll extend your appreciation to him. Mr. Abdullahi, thank you so much. Thank you, Desmo, who has dropped out. And for everyone on the call, thank you for engaging actively since the session started. I hope that with this newfound knowledge, you're able to do your work even much more effectively. We are in a new era. That is what I can say. Either you choose to, align, or people who, are more aligned can, have an advantage over you. Like I said in the start, nobody get credit for not using these new technologies. Nobody even want to listen to you that, um, AI is ethical or not ethical. I mean, we have gone past that. Even universities are allowing students to use AI to some extent. So just know the data protection concerns surrounding this. Be mindful of that, and be mindful of data privacy as well. And then use it the best way you can use to improve your work, and save time and use the other time for your continuous professional development you asked me. Thank you so much, everyone. If you're part of the group, any resources they share, I'll just share that on the group. Yes, Ahmed, the recording will be shared on that platform as well. Thank you, namesake Godwin. Thank you, everyone. We do sessions like this, and hopefully we are going to convene again in the month of September to talk about something else. From me to you, have an amazing evening, everyone.
We appreciate you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. It's my pleasure doing this. You're welcome, Abdulrahman.